Hello, everyone, and thank you for those who have joined us. We are going to get started in just a moment as we give individuals another minute or so to join us. While you are waiting, I would direct your attention to the chat option. And if you have any questions during our conversation today, please go ahead and drop us a question in the chat, and we will do our best to get to as many of the questions that come through as possible. Again, thank you all for joining, and we will get started momentarily. Thank you to everyone again. If you just joined us, we really appreciate you being here today. We are going to get started in about 30 seconds. There is a chat option, and we'd love to hear from you during our conversation today. So please feel free to send a question our way, and we will do our best throughout today's session to answer that question. All right, so I would like to welcome everybody to our webinar about boosting your profitability. Today, we'll cover why you should consider alternative cash management methods and how you can implement them with your business checking. I'm April Danil, the Senior Vice President of Customer Success at Bluevine. For anyone who's not familiar with Bluevine, we are the largest small business banking platform in the US with business checking, invoicing, payments, lending, and credit accessible all in one location. We love helping business owners save time managing their finances so they can get back to doing more of what they love. Today, we welcome Bluevine Senior Group Product Manager, Nick Chapin, to share some background about strategies that help increase profitability and show us some practical tips for how to set up your checking account and make these strategies work for you. Just a gentle reminder, these tips are meant to be educational and should not be taken as personalized, financial, or accounting advice. Nick's been at the heart of building tools that make smarter money management easier for business owners. Nick, can you give us a quick intro and walk us through why so many business owners are shifting towards a more proactive approach to profit?
Yeah, thanks, April. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. So I'm Nick. I'm on the Bluevine product team. I've been here for about 5 years, and my team works on the business checking and bill pay products here at Bluevine. So yeah, I've been here for a while, helping to build a powerful banking platform, really tailor-made for small business owners, like April said. Some of the features and products that I've worked on include sub accounts, employee debit cards, spend controls, APY, mobile check deposit, and many others. And part of building that powerful banking platform means enabling small business owners to run a healthy business and prioritize profit, stick to their business model. And so today we're going to get into a little bit of how Bluevine can help you do that. So the traditional profit equation is taking your expenses and subtracting them from your sales revenue. This way, you can calculate how much profit your business has made. Many businesses and accountants, however, swear by an alternative way to manage their cash flow. With this other method, you flip the traditional equation and set aside profits first before you calculate expenses. That means you know how much profit you'll make ahead of time, and you use that figure to kind of figure out how much you can afford in expenses. So, a lot of experts believe that by focusing on that profit margin up front and assigning every dollar a specific purpose, you'll make it less likely that your business will run out of cash.
That's such a refreshing way to think about money, starting with profit and planning around it, instead of treating it like leftover at the end of the month. Let's get into how we can put this approach into practice. Nick's going to show us how Bluevine's business checking tools, like sub-accounts and automation, can make it really easy for you to stay on top of your cash flow.
Yep. So today I'm going to show you how you can set up your everyday banking to focus on profit ahead of expenses. And we'll also walk you through how to work smarter, not harder, by setting up sub-accounts and automation to help you manage your cash flow more effectively. First, though, I want to push out a quick poll. Please let us know if you're using sub-accounts today or a similar tool with your business checking account. And if you do, I'd love to see how you're using them. Should be a poll up on the screen now.
Okay, Nick, while some of our audience members are answering the poll, I'd love to know what your favorite product launch at Bluevine to date has been.
That's a great question. I think probably my favorite product launch was the launch of our Premier and Plus checking accounts. Those are our subscription plans, and they offer a lot of awesome benefits to our clients. And actually, I'll be able to just show you a little bit how plans tie in with sub accounts once we jump into the demo in a few minutes.
Well, that sounds exciting. Can't wait.
Okay, great. Looks like a lot of people are using sub accounts. Profit, taxes, payroll. Awesome. Cool. All right. I'm gonna start the demo now. Start sharing my screen. You should be seeing my Bluevine dashboard as I log in here.
We can see it. Thank you, Nick.
Yep. Okay, great. So how do you set up your business checking account to increase profitability? Here you can see my business is called Dick Chapin Books, and I've got a few accounts here with Bluevine. The first one is my main operational account or my OpEx account, and that's my Bluevine checking account that I opened up during onboarding. So whenever a new business comes to Bluevine and they onboard, we give them their first business checking account. It's named Bluevine Checking, and you can see it has the Bluevine logo right here that denotes it's that original like main account associated with the business. After that, you can open up sub accounts. So you can see I have 4 sub accounts here: accounts receivable, owner's pay, taxes, and another account I'm using to save up, which I'll talk about later. And these sub accounts are dedicated business checking accounts. So they have their own account number and routing number and a completely separate ledger. So if I jump in here to this account, for example, I can see all the transactions associated with this account, and they're completely separate from the transactions and funds in my main account. Some of the benefits of sub accounts and how they work with your other accounts is moving money between them instantly. So if I want to transfer money, say from my Bluevine checking account to my first edition Hemingway account, I can do that easily. Here I'm getting prompted for a code. Bluevine also keeps your account safe by prompting you for MFA codes every once in a while, and that's another big benefit of our platform is security. And this transfer is processed automatically, instantly, and I have more money in my first edition Hemingway account. Another benefit of sub accounts is you can make payments directly from them. So let me go to my unpaid bills section and click on send payment. I can search for a payee. Here's another account that I have. Put in an amount. I can also enter in bill details if I want, like the due date, invoice number, or category, which syncs to QBO. Or I can upload a bill here, and Bluevine will automatically take the details on the bill and populate it into the amount, bill details, and pay if we can find it. So in this case, I'll pay from, let's say, my first edition Hemingway account. Maybe I'm paying someone for this first edition Hemingway that I've been saving up for. I'll choose ACH, save and confirm payment. Here I can also send an email to the payee to notify them about this payment. So I'll do that so they know it's coming. This is a pretty cheap first edition Hemingway. Send the payment, and I've sent a payment from my sub account. Another great benefit, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, one of the main ones that Bluevine offers, is APY. And these sub accounts work seamlessly with our APY offering. So all of the funds in the sub accounts, in addition to the main account, are earning APY. So you don't have to worry about switching money between the accounts. All of it will earn interest, and that interest is accrued daily and paid out every month. If I jump into my plan, so I'm in the plus plan up here in the top right, and click on view plans, I can see that right now I'm earning 2.7% APY on all balances up to 250K in my plus tier. And so that applies for my main checking account and all the funds in my sub accounts. So you can earn more money on your money and not pay it out to banks. Clicking up here on compare plans, as it relates to sub-accounts, with my plus plan, I get 10 sub-accounts. So in the standard plan, you get 5 sub-accounts plus your 1 main account. And if you're in plus, you'll get access to 10, Premier 20, for a total of 21 checking accounts, which is awesome. There's many other great benefits associated with plans. You can see that you get discounts on payment fees. So I'm paying, because I'm in the plus plan, I'm paying less on my same day ACH, less on my wire. I get free mail checks and lots of other great benefits. Now let me go back to my homepage. So here I've gotten a few accounts set up already. Like I said, Bluevine checking. That's going to be my main operational account. And so that's where all my daily expenses are. That's the account that my debit card is connected to, so I can buy things for my business. I also have my accounts receivable account. So there's no funds in there right now, but this is the account where I want all of my incoming payments to be received. So all of my income goes into this accounts receivable account. Then I have my owner's pay account. So this is the account I use to pay myself. I set aside money every month in order to pay myself as the owner of the business. And this is my taxes account. So this is where I use to save money for paying taxes. I'll show a little bit more about that. And then I have another account here, this first edition Hemingway account. I referred to that one earlier. Another great way that you can use sub accounts is to set aside money for a purchase that you're planning on making. So I'm running a bookstore. Maybe I want to have a first edition Hemingway to put in my window to attract people in. I can set aside money for that and save it in a dedicated account. I'm going to create one more account here, and it's relevant to all the conversations we've been having, which is an account dedicated for profit. Super easy to add new sub accounts. I just choose what I'm going to use the new sub account for. You can see up here I've used 5 of my 10 sub accounts, and then I'll give my sub account a nickname. So in this case, I'll give it the name Profit. I confirm that my information is complete and accurate. Add the sub account. And it's that easy. I have a new business checking account. Now that I've got all my accounts set up, I want to show you how you can use automatic transfer rules in order to automate cash flow management. This doesn't need to be a manual process where you're constantly moving money around between these accounts. Bluevine's built some tools that make it really easy to just automate this. So to do that, I'm going to go up into settings here in the top right. Under the checking tab, I'm going to go to automatic transfer rules. And you can see here that I can create some automatic transfer rules between my Bluevine accounts. I'll click on create rule here. And today we offer 2 different types of auto transfer rules. One is a minimum balance rule. So this allows you to maintain a specific balance in an account. And this is really useful. For example, if you have a payroll account and you know how much it costs to pay you payroll each month, you can ensure that you always top up that account after you go through a payroll cycle. And so you always have the correct amount in there. It's also useful for operating accounts or dedicated accounts payable accounts if you just want to make sure that you always have at least a certain amount of money in those accounts. Percentage base allows you to distribute funds by percentage or when the balance exceeds a set limit. I'm going to show you how to set up a percentage based rule in order to prioritize profit. So I'm going to click next. I'll give this new percentage rule a nickname. So I'm going to say it's my prioritizing profit rule. And I'll choose my account to manage. So the way I'm going to set this up is that I'm going to manage my accounts receivable account, since this is where all the money is coming in from sales that I'm making. So this is my income account. I'll want to set that as the account to manage. And I can choose a maximum balance to keep. So if I did want to have some money in my accounts receivable account, I could set this at a certain amount. For me, I don't need any money in that account. That's just receiving money. I'm not making any payments out of it. So I'm going to choose 0 as the maximum balance to keep. This means that when I set up my auto transfer rule, it'll remove all of the money from this account on a recurring basis and distribute it to my other accounts. And here I can choose how to distribute the excess balance. So let me choose the profit account as the first one. So as I mentioned earlier, a great way to make sure that you're prioritizing profit for your business is to look at your business plan and figure out how much profit you think your business should be making and set that aside upfront. And this can depend on your business plan or how much your annual revenue. If you're a higher annual revenue business, you're going to have more profit and you're going to set up less money aside, for example, to like pay yourself. But for my account today, I'm a relatively new business, but I have a pretty solid business plan. So I'm going to put 10% into my profit account. Now I'm going to set aside funds for my OpEx account. So I know that, according to my business plan and historically, I need to spend about 55% of all income on day-to-day expenses. So I'll set that aside. I also need to set aside funds for taxes. So I'll put in 15% for taxes. Hopefully my accountant thinks that's good enough. And then I'll also want to set aside funds to pay myself. So I'll set aside 20% into the owner's pay account. Now I can choose the frequency and when I want this to start. So I can choose daily. I'd like this to happen every single day. And I can have this start, say, tomorrow. Click next, and then I can create the rule. Now I have an automated auto transfer rule that can, that will transfer that money, every single day. Another approach here is to do an expense first, model. That's kind of the opposite of what we're talking about here. But if you're a new business and you don't necessarily know quite how much profit you're making, you can set aside money for expenses and then see how much money you have left over, and then incorporate that into a new rule to prioritize profit and set aside money for that. So that's another way to go about the process, but that's a simple way that you can set up an auto transfer rule in order to prioritize profit for your business. April?
Thank you, Nick. Really appreciate that. For business owners who want to be more intentional about their money, this setup seems like a great way to build structure without complexity. And it's great to see that so many of our audience members today are using sub-accounts. I also noticed that about 43% of our audience members today do not use sub-accounts. And I hope that this demo was helpful in terms of showing you how easy it is to potentially use this feature that could save you, time and really help your business. And I know, how valuable these are and how great they are for organizing cash flow. But Nick, I think the question that I have for you is, can they also play a role in protecting your business from fraud?
Yeah, thanks. That's a great point, April. Let me show you a little bit about, why sub accounts can be useful for fraud or to protect against fraud. So like I mentioned, sub accounts are completely separate checking accounts with their own account number and Bluevine's routing number. So they're completely separate, and that can be really useful in terms of being able to set controls for how each account is allowed to send money out, and make that specific to what the account is used for. One way that Bluevine makes this really easy is with ACH debit controls. So if I go into settings here in the top right and under checking and go under ACH debit controls, I can determine which accounts are eligible for someone to debit them via ACH, which is a common way to make payments. So you can see that on my accounts receivable account, for example, I have ACH debits blocked. This is an income account. I'm only receiving payments into the account. I'm not sending money out. So I never need ACH debits to be enabled for this, and I can block it. Bluevine is actually working on some additional controls here that are launching soon. And so you'll be able to do the same thing for example, written checks or other types of transactions. But you can see for my operational account, I do make some payments out of this account. And so I've pre-authorized 3 payees who are allowed to debit from that account. You can see them here: April's Baking Company, G Suite, and Amazon Web Services. If I look at these rules, I've entered in the ACH company ID, and I've also been able to select a maximum debit allowed. So I'm paying April because I like to give my employees cookies. She prefers to receive payments by ACH. So she's provided me with her ACH company ID, and I set up this rule to pre-authorize her as an ACH payee. That means that only these payees will be allowed to be paid out of this account, and only with the amount that I've specified. Another really great example of how you can use this and protect your money is with, for example, your taxes account. So a lot of people pay taxes via like an electronic transfer, which uses ACH. My business is based in California. So if I want to set up this account, so only the state of California can debit my account for taxes, it's really easy. What I can do is open up a tab here. I'm going to look for California state tax ACH company ID. And you can see that California has published the company identification numbers that I can use to pre-authorize them as a payee. So all I need to do is copy this here, go into my ACH debit controls, block ACH debits, because I don't want all ACH debits to be able to go through on this account, only ones that I've pre-authorized. Then I can go here to payees and pre-authorize California state taxes, enter in their company ID. I'll pre-authorize only the taxes account, so they'll only be able to pre-authorize from this account. And my business doesn't have too much revenue, so I don't expect to pay more than $1,000 in taxes. I can save that and pre-authorize. So now this account is protected against fraud, but I'll still be able to make the payments that I need to make out of it. This is a great feature that comes with our Plus and Premier tier. In the standard tier, you can still get access to fraud controls, but you'll be limited to just blocking ACH debits or enabling them for all.
Thank you, Nick. That was incredibly helpful. And it's great to know that there are, such wonderful features to help, give us more peace of mind give our business owners, more peace of mind in terms of the security of their account. I love that we've got some really great audience engagement. And before we move on, I want to pause and share some of those questions, Nick, for you to answer. All right. Yeah. So the first one we have is, can you create a rule where those automatic transfers happen with each deposit?
Great question. So if I go back to settings, something that I mentioned earlier about my automatic transfer rule is that I've set the maximum balance to keep for this account to 0. So while we don't have the option to have the rule run on every deposit today, it's just running daily. What we can do is set the maximum balance to keep to 0 for this account. And that means that every day it will automatically be distributed for all deposits, as long as all my deposits are directed into this accounts receivable account. So while it's not maybe exactly the way you put it, it should function exactly the same way, as long as you set up the account, the auto transfer rule in the way that I did.
Great.
Hope that answers your question.
And if it doesn't, please post another follow-up question and we will be sure to get to it. Okay, our next great question. When you're making a mobile deposit, do you have the option to deposit into these sub-accounts as well?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, mobile deposits can be deposited into any account. So when you're initiating your mobile check deposit, there'll be a drop down where you can select the account that you want to make the deposit into. And so if you have an accounts receivable account set up, like I do, for example, I would choose that account and deposit the check into my accounts receivable account.
Sounds easy enough. All right, another wonderful question. Is it possible to auto transfer where some of it's percentages and the other is a dollar amount, or does it all have to be percentages or all be the dollar amount?
Yeah, great question. So today it's all based off of percentages. So we have 2 rules. The first one is percentage based, which is the one that I showed you. So that allows you to distribute funds by percentage. The second one is minimum balance. And so that one does use a specific dollar amount, but it's about, managing a specific account and using another account to top that account up. So I can, for example, set my payroll account. Let's say that I know I need to pay my employees around $10,000 every month, set that at $10,000, and then I can pull funds from my operational account into that payroll account or my accounts receivable account into that account, wherever I want to denote it, and make sure that on a weekly basis, I always transfer enough to bring it up to 10,000.
Great, thank you. And please continue to submit the questions. They're fantastic. We love the engagement from our audience members. Oh, we got another one. This just in, hot off the press. All right. For sub accounts, is there a way to lock the account so nothing can be taken out of it until a certain day? For example, the tax deductions account, so it's not accidentally used as, let's say, an emergency fund.
Yeah, great question. So that's one of the goals of the fraud controls that we've created. So for sub accounts today, there are no cards associated with the account. So your debit card's not going to be pulling from it. And what we've done with ACH debit controls is allowed you to, let's say, I want to do this for my first edition Hemingway account because I'm saving up for that book. I don't want to accidentally have someone debit the account who has access to the account information. I can choose to block ACH, and now it's impossible to send money out of this account via ACH. If someone outside of my account tries to debit the account, so that's a good way to lock down the account for ACH. One thing that we're working on and can kind of give a sneak preview here is to do the same thing for written checks. So for written checks, you'll also be able to set up a block. So for both ACH and incoming and clearing checks, neither of them will be able to be used to send money out of the account, and you can protect it. And then if you want to take it out, let's say, I am going to send a payment from this account via ACH, I just click enable ACH debits, and ACH debits are allowed on the account again.
Fantastic. It's clear that we've got some really simple, easy to use features, and that we've been very thoughtful about what's next and what will continue to support the business owners that we serve every day. The engagement from the audience is absolutely fantastic, Nick. So we have a few more questions. I'm going to keep working through them and continue to submit them, please. So if we accidentally overspend in one account, does another account automatically cover so we can avoid the overdraft fee? If so, which account is the backup?
Great question. Yeah. So one great thing about Bluevine is that we don't charge you overdraft fees. So Bluevine won't charge you if for some reason something happens on the account and it goes negative. So that's a good benefit to protect against that. Right now, we don't offer a backup account to transfer funds over from another account, but you'll be able to log in without incurring any fees and make the transfer yourself to get the account back to positive.
Love that we do not charge overdraft fees. It makes it simple and far more convenient for our business owners. Thank you for that, Nick. All right, next question. If I blocked an ACH debit, would I be able to manually do an ACH if I decide?
Yes, really great question. So even if you've blocked ACH debits, you can still log into your Bluevine dashboard and send ACH payments out. The only thing that's being blocked is like an incoming ACH debit to your account for someone who has your account information and is charging you for a service, or potentially, if your account information was compromised, they're trying to take funds from your account.
All right. Can you change your primary account to act as an account receivable and shift to sub-accounts?
Yes. Yeah, you can do that. So, you can have your main checking account act as your accounts receivable account, and then use your other ones. The only potential downside to that today is that your debit card is going to be associated with your main Bluevine checking account. So if you are planning on using a debit card to pay for expenses, then that would be pulling out of your accounts receivable account. So that might make things a little more complex. Definitely some fun new features in the works there. Don't want to give too much away, but a lot of fun stuff coming around debit cards and sub accounts. So you can look forward to that as well, and that will make it even easier.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. I appreciate the great response and the tip. So, all of our business owners understand the benefits and the things that they're going to need to watch out for if they are adjusting their account in certain ways. That's very helpful. Next question. Because we will pay people out from some deposits, what's the best way to set up a rule to apply after we pay someone?
Sorry, can you repeat that one, April?
Sure. Because we will pay out people from some deposits, what's the best way to set up a rule to apply after we pay someone?
Yeah, good question. So right now, the way the automatic transfers rule is that they're set up on a certain frequency. So they won't run after a transaction necessarily, but they will run on whatever frequency you decide. So personally, I like daily because, make sure that when I wake up every morning, everything has been moved around. So that's what I chose for my rule that I set up here. And that means that, at the end of every day, all this money will be transferred. And, if you receive some deposits during the day or you made some payments during the day, everything will settle before the next morning.
Great, thank you. All right, several more questions are coming in. Again, thank you for your engagement. Does Bluevine offer private one-on-one service to advise and set up categories or processes on the user's behalf?
Yeah, good question. I don't know, April. You're running our support team, and we have some really amazing people on the support team. So I think always calling into support and asking for some help on how to get things set up is probably a good idea.
Yeah, that is a great one. And then there is more dedicated support that comes with our Premier account. And so depending on the plan that you choose that works for your business, we offer really great experiences across all of our products, but you can also get more dedicated support with our Premier account. And if that's something that you are interested in, we can absolutely make sure that we capture the name of the person who submitted that question, and we can get back in touch with you. Great. Let's see, there's another question, Nick, around what are my deposit options?
Yeah, great question. So in terms of making deposits into Bluevine, you've got a few options. So one we referred to earlier, which is mobile check deposit. So Bluevine has a mobile app, and you can use that to submit checks into the account. Another option is to send money via ACH in. So, one option is I can use the transfer functionality. You can see I have a Square account linked here. If I click on transfer, I can select this Square account and actually transfer money in from the Square account to my Bluevine account, which is easy. These external transfers usually take between 1 and 3 business days. If I click transfer here, I'll get prompted. There's that great Bluevine security. I haven't made a transaction in a while, so it's just making sure that it's me who's authorizing this, especially when interacting with an external account. And we'll pull money from this Square account into Bluevine. You can see that I have a pending transfer here. So that's another great option. You can also log into your external financial institution and add Bluevine as an external account, and then initiate a transfer via ACH from your external bank. So let's say that you were previously banking with like a local bank and you're switching all of your banking to Bluevine, which is what we hope you do. You can log in there, get the account number and routing number for each account, for the account, add that in as an external account, and then usually what will happen is they'll make like some penny deposits into the Bluevine account. You can confirm those amounts and then send money, to the Bluevine checking account as an external account, or if your bank offers ACH payments, you'll be able to do it that way. So yeah, that's another great way to transfer money in. Another option is wires. So a lot of businesses, when they first open their Bluevine account, if they're looking to transfer all their operations over quickly, they'll just send money via wire to speed up the process. So wires will settle same day. Bluevine charges no fees for incoming wires, which is awesome. So you'll do the same process. You'll go to your bank, add your Bluevine checking account as a payee there, and then wire the funds in, and they'll settle within your Bluevine account if you made it before your bank's cut off same day. So those are really the 3 main ways you can make deposits. You can make cash deposits at Bluevine. So we do have partners for cash deposits. And those are pretty easy to use. You can find those in our mobile app to find an ATM that accepts cash deposits. We partner with Allpoint. That's another option. I think that's great for ongoing business if you do accept cash payments. But probably for your initial transfer, what I'd recommend is either using our transfers feature or ACHing money, and both of those are free, and allows you to easily move in a lot of money.
Great. Nick, it's clear that you are an expert, and our audience members are loving everything that you are sharing with them today, because we have got several more questions. I'm extremely excited to continue to ask these questions and help our customers. Is it
Cool.
possible to then automate a transfer of all of the incoming funds into a sub account?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, let's update our rule to do exactly that. So still here. Thanks, Bluevine Security, keeping me safe. So if I want, the only rule that with the percentage-based rule is that all of the percentages here need to add up to 100%. So if I wanted to move 100% of the money from my accounts receivable account into, say, my Bluevine checking account, that would be easy to do. I could just, let me delete these. Let's say I want to transfer, everything here into my owner's pay account. I can just set this to be 100% and save those changes. Hope that makes sense. Any other questions, April?
Yes. All right. Okay. So this one is about this one is related to the timing of those daily transfers. So what time would those daily transfers begin?
Yeah, good question. These are happening around midnight every single day.
Great. Thank you. All right. This next question I'm really excited about, given that this is a feature we just recently launched. But the question is, if I wanted to receive payments from clients via Bluevine instead of Stripe or Square, is that an option? And is that an option? And then if so, would you be able to demonstrate?
Great question. Very, very timely. So Bluevine has a new product that we just launched, which is our accounts receivable product, also known as sales here in the left tab. And this is a great way to be able to accept payments. So you can connect your Stripe account here, and you're able to create payment links. You can create invoices with payment links, and send those out to your customers and get paid that way. And funds will automatically transfer from your Stripe account into your Bluevine account. And we were talking about how that works with auto transfer rules. You can select which account you want the money to transfer into. So I could select that as my accounts receivable account. And now I'm able to generate payment links, send those to my customers, have their money coming into Bluevine, and automatically manage the incoming funds and distribute them, according to my business plan, automatically, all within my Bluevine dashboard. Unfortunately, I can't give a demo of the sales feature today because this account hasn't been onboarded into Stripe. But we have a lot of great resources that I think we can probably send around or put in the chat here, where you can check out how to do that.
Great, thank you. All right, so this next question ties into another one of the great features that we have, which is international payments. And the question is there a way to pay vendors who are not within the same national jurisdiction without using bank wire transfers?
Yeah, good question. Today, we only support international wires. So that's going to be the main way that you're going to be able to send funds to those that are not in the country. And if you're already familiar with this, the way that you can do this when you're adding a new payee, you can just choose the country. These are all the supported countries at Bluevine. This will use international wire, and we charge a fee for international wires. But since I'm in the Plus plan, if you're someone who sends a lot of international wires, I get discounted payment fees for international wires. So instead of the 25.15%, which is what we charge for our standard plan, I'm in this tier. I get a lower fixed cost and a lower variable cost. And you can see in the Premier plan, you get a significantly discounted cost, which can really help make the plan worth it and help you save a lot of money.
Thanks for sharing that, Nick. And especially, I appreciate how you're going over the different plans and the features and the benefits that they have. And this information is really great. So, and I think ties into a lot of the questions. Based on how you utilize your account, we offer 3 different core checking products that could be helpful for you. And if you need more information about that, we're happy to help support you in that process when you're making that decision. All right. So Nick, thank you so much. You have done a fantastic job. You've answered, the demo was fantastic. You answered so many questions from our audience team members, and you're clearly a pro at understanding all of the features and functionality within the Bluevine account. You made it really enjoyable. So thank you again for that. And I want to thank our audience members for joining us today. On behalf of Nick and the entire Bluevine team, we hope you learned something new about cash flow management, sub-accounts, and profit, and how the three are all connected. By taking what Nick covered in his walkthrough and putting it into action, you can set up your account for a more efficient money management and better profitability. Please feel free to click through some of the helpful resources at the bottom of your screen, and we'll see you next time. Thank you all again for joining.